The only thing Mary says about the emerald gnat is that it gets its name from the color of its body. One sentence in her book, Favorite Flies and Their Histories, published in 1892. Mary Orvis Marbury, that is. I am tying this fly from the illustration in her book, as well as from a picture of the actual fly. The actual fly has completely lost its color over the years. I'm tying it on a number 14 hook since it is a gnat, a small insect, using black thread. I have some bicolor tinsel, gold and silver, and I'm tying it in with the gold side towards the hook. That way when I flip, it shows the gold, and I'm going to put a gold tag on it. So I'm using an extra small gold tinsel. It lays way smoother, particularly around the bend of the hook. So just wrap down a little ways, 2 or 3 wraps, 3, 4 wraps, wrap back up, and then I'll catch that in. Just bring 3 wraps over the top of it. I'm going to put a floss body, but it's a pretty heavy floss, so I'm not too worried about the size of the underbody or how flat it actually is. Get rid of the extra tinsel. The tail is brown, so I have a brown hackle feather with fairly long fibers on it, and I'm actually giving it a little bit heftier tail since it's such a fine hackle. The illustration has 2 fibers for the tail. The actual fly has 3 or 4, hard to tell exactly, but I'm going to tie this in with a small clump of hackle feathers, and I'm going to go underneath of the fibers with my thread just to keep it from laying down flat against the bend of the hook. Go ahead and clip out the butt ends. A green floss for the body. I'll tie that in, leaving room up in front for hackle and wing. Wrap back to the tail. Bring my thread back out of the way. I'm actually using 2 strands of this green thread. I don't know what size this actual thread is. It's actually called Xylene, which is a thread used for beading, but it was the right color and what I had. So any green, emerald green floss or thread would work for the body. Bring that up to where I will tie in the hackle and wing. 3 wraps over the top, pull it back, 2 or 3 wraps underneath to catch it, and then I will clip that out. I have a brown rooster cape hackle that I will use for the front hackle. I'll pull down on the barbs at the base or butt end, clip those short, call that a crew cut, and then I will use that to catch that in. Those little shortened barbs help to catch in that hackle, and I'm coming a bit a ways from the eye so that I have room to tie in the wing as well. I'll grab that hackle feather with my hackle pliers. I did tie it in with the dull side towards the hook, the shiny side out, to try to get those barbs to bend or curve backwards. Although with this fly I'm going to tie them back as well with the thread. So enough wraps to get what the hackle looks like in the illustration. I think I did, what, 3? And then I'm just wrap up over the tip of that, 3 wraps. I'm going to wet my fingers and pull back on all those hackle fibers, and then wrap up over that stem or rachis, and make room for the wings. Then I can grab that tip and snap it out. Maybe a little long, but Mary did tend to tie pretty long hackles on her flies. For the wing, I have 2 gray mallard wing slips, and they're approximately the width of the gape. If I can put one of those on each side of the hook, or just hold them on top and measure. I want that wing to kind of be even with the bend of the hook. Get those on top, and then I'm going to just pinch wrap and loose up and then around the bottom, and then pull up on those feathers to cinch them in. And then wrap back. I'll pick up on them and wrap underneath of them over the eye of the hook. And this is a sproat bend hook with a straight shank and a straight eye. I think it mimics better the eyeless hooks that Mary used. And I think I've got clear eye there. The heads on Mary's fly are fairly large because of the gut material that she had to tie in for her heads. And I have kind of crowded this one. I'm going to try to make sure that that's open. Oh yeah. There's enough opening there to get a tippet in there. I'll put a whip finish on it. And in another contemporary twist to these old flies, I'm going to put a drop of diluted goop on the head. And then I have a hackle feather that I will pass through the eye to make sure that it is clean and ready for a tippet.